What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Van Chats. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Emma White, who is now a bronze medalist and just got back from the Tokyo Games. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So what is it, before, I'm just going to go ahead and get into, the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. What does it feel like to stand on the podium at an Olympic Games? You've stood on several podiums, but you just stood on one of the best podiums in the world,
Yeah.
you could ever think of.
Yeah, truly it was very surreal. The whole entire time, even during the rides, I kept having these moments where I was like, am I dreaming? Because this doesn't feel real. It had been so long since we raced, let alone stood on a podium. And so much of that time we were wondering if the games would even happen. And I think there was one point where I just wrapped my head around the fact that they weren't going to happen. And I just didn't want to get my hopes up anymore. And I was like, I don't think that they're going to happen. So to be standing on the podium, I was like, wait a minute. They went ahead, they happened, and we're bronze medalists. And that was a really, really amazing feeling.
Yeah. And so you have a weird story. And I think a lot of these women, honestly, in the women's team pursuit have kind of crazy, weird stories of how they fall into the program. And so let's dive into that a little bit. Like a lot of people, it's funny because everybody knew you guys as the Whites who rode cyclocross, like the Whites family who rode cyclocross. And now some people probably don't even know that you had ever ridden cyclocross because they know Emma White as the track cycling Olympian. So how did you get into track cycling? Where did that even come from? And where does Emma White come from, I guess, more or less?
Yeah, so I grew up racing cyclocross and road in New England with my older brother Curtis, and did that all the way and we were on the same teams for most of that, actually. So in cyclocross, it was Cannondale, and he was on rally for a couple of years while I was on it, and the Hot Tubes junior development team. And it was really fun. We both went to Eurocross camps in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and spent Christmases and Thanksgivings there. And then I was invited to a talent ID camp in 2018 in Colorado Springs for the track. And my coach, Kristen, was like, hey, I think this would be a good idea just to make you more fit. She's like, It would really help with cyclocross, and it'll also help with road. You improve your high cadence, you improve your sprinting. It's a win-win. So I was like, okay, why not? I knew Katie Compton was actually there, more cyclocross people. And so I was like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And it was really fun. I had a great time. Loved everybody that we worked with. And then on the way home, I was in the airport and Gary Sutton called me and he was like, look, you've got a decision to make.
Just right after that camp, he's giving.
Yeah, literally on the way home.
And so for a lot of you guys that don't know Gary Sutton well, when he calls you, he's super straight and to the point. It's like hey, and then here's my question, and that's about it. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, we have competitions within the team of who can have the longest conversation with Gary, because usually they're all about 14 seconds.
Yeah,
he calls, he says what he needs to, and he hangs up.
That could either be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, if you're having a long phone call with Gary, that might not actually be a good time. But anyway,
I've always loved every long conversation we've had. Yeah. But yeah, so he pretty much said, I see you on this team during the next Olympic cycle, and you could be in Tokyo. And I was like, whoa. As soon as somebody kind of dangles the Olympics in your face, you can't really go around that. What a dream it is to become an Olympic athlete. So it didn't take me too much time to decide, although it wasn't an easy decision. I love cyclocross. Yeah. I love cyclocross family. But I knew in my heart that I would never forgive myself if I ever, if I didn't go down that path. And then the team went on to win or medal at the Olympics. I'd always be like, I could have been there. So that's the story. My Cannondale family with cyclocross was very supportive, although disappointed. They I think everybody in my shoes would have made the same decision. So I'm really happy. And I got to meet you, John.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you mentioned that. It's like, I think a lot of people have these Olympic dreams, right? But cyclocross wasn't in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's always been like a rumor, and it's always been chatted about. And like, which Olympics do you put it in? Do you put it in the Winter Games or put it in the Summer Games? But yeah, would you say that the Olympics was something that you always wanted to do, and that's kind of why you jumped at it? Or like, if cyclocross was an Olympic discipline, would you have made the switch so quick?
Well, truthfully, the Olympics hasn't always been my dream.
Okay.
World Championship has always been my dream, and because
one of those. As well.
I did get one of those.
To mention that, but yeah, you have one of those.
And I've been to 2 road world championships, 2 cyclocross world championships, and 2 track world championships. So I really feel like that was always the dream that was most attainable, through across all disciplines. And sometimes in the Olympics, you don't really think you don't immediately think Olympics when you think of the highest point in cycling, because it only happens every 4 years. And the World Championships is such a big part of the season, and something we always look forward to. So, but once it started to become a possibility, then I was like, full speed ahead towards the Olympics, and every decision I made was kind of based on like, how could I get there? And so no, I wasn't one of those kids that grew up wanting to be an Olympian. I just wanted to yeah.
So all right, now let's dive into the Tokyo experience, because I've had this conversation. So I had the pleasure of riding with your teammate and friend Jen Valente up to Leadville this past weekend.
Yes.
And the way I said it to her, it was probably worded very poorly, and people are probably going to give me shit for this after I say it. But like, after I saw Jen win gold, it didn't feels weird, but it was like, oh, like it just almost seemed like she won another bike race. And it was really hard to like put into context, because it's like, I've just seen her so many times and in person and in public and just training with her. And like, she had just won Olympic gold. Like, it almost, I'm not saying that it diluted the medal. It just seems like so far out. Like, I would never know an Olympian or like be that close to an Olympian. And so when you were at the race, cause like when you show up to a World Cup, after a while, a World Cup just becomes a World Cup. And the Worlds just becomes a Worlds. It's just like another bike race. Yeah. What did it feel like when cause did it ever just kind of hit you that you're just like, all right, I'm at another race? Or was it always like, oh my God, I'm at the Olympics? Or like when you're walking into your cubby, you're like, I'm still at the Olympics. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get kind of the question I'm asking?
Yeah, I do. And I surprised myself here, because so in the week leading up to when we flew to Tokyo, we were in LA, and I was a mess. I'm not usually a very stressful person or stressed out person, but I was stressed. And I was like, if this is me in Tokyo, like this isn't it. Like, I can't perform at this level, because I was so freaked out, and I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of crashing. I was afraid of getting COVID. I was like, I just want to get there, and I want to get to the start line. But then once we were there, I was a completely different person. And this is where I surprised myself. Even on the start line, I was like, here we go. Like, we put in so much work, and we're going to go put it all out there. And there's nothing I can do right now to change anything. So I was really relaxed. And normally I think I am pretty relaxed normally. But I thought it might be different because it's the Olympics.
Yeah. Cause I mean, when we get our first call ups to World Cups or Worlds, like, it's just that grand stage of just like full panic and sheer, just like, oh man, like this is the biggest thing. But then like about 2 or 3 days in, especially after you get like a couple track sessions in, you just realize it's just like being in LA, especially when you're doing a timed event. Like, when it really comes down to it, like whatever time you're going to run is the time that you're going to run, and it is what it is. Like,
absolutely. I think that was, absolutely.
And so, like, I think it's really crazy. So Adrian lived here at the house, and so he went to the Olympics and he brought home all this clothing. So I have to genuinely ask you, what's your favorite piece of clothing, and have you given any away? And what's your least favorite too? So let's start with your favorite though.
We got dresses that Adrian probably did not bring back.
He did not.
And I wore it to my party. I don't know if you saw pictures, but I had a party when I got back, and I thought that was just really fun, super stylish.
Yeah.
I can't choose the least favorite. Honestly, I love it all so much. I've been living in it. I felt bad because I feel like, but yeah, it's the bucket hat is super fun. Never thought I was a bucket hat person, but when I went to the beach, I wore it the whole time.
Yeah, Casey stole Hedge's. Well, Hedge gifted it to her, but Casey kept telling.
Oh, that's nice.
Casey kept telling Hedge how much he wanted, or she wanted that hat. Like she just wanted
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
That's pretty special.
Yeah.
So much of it is still like packed away. Like I just didn't know what to do with it all. And I don't know when I can. Oh, I also love the jeans. I love the opening and closing ceremony outfits but I don't know when I can wear them again. I wore them around town once, my little town of Duanesburg.
Yeah. Did anybody say anything?
Yeah, town is so small, so it's all over the news. I felt like a celebrity because my town is just so small. Well, this is the most exciting thing that's happened to them.
I think they did the most Emma thing ever by whatever bar it was, making a drink after you.
Right? This has always been my dream. This has been more of a dream than being an Olympian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the drink and what's it made out of? And did you have any, did you have any help in the creation process?
Yeah. My sister is the manager of the bar. So I really didn't have anything to do with it. She took it and ran with it.
But she knew what you liked though.
Yeah. Yeah. She gave me a couple options and my vote was tequila, but it was an open bar. And so people could choose whatever liquor they wanted in it. And it was like a lemonade, but it was red, white, and blue. And it was lemonade and it had grenadine in it. And
that's cool.
It was pretty tasty. And then there were cookies with my face on it.
I did see those. Yeah, that was awesome. And so now the next question is, and knowing you probably were so oblivious or didn't even care to look. Was there any crazy hype in the infield because it seemed like the most watched thing, or at least the most drama, was in the team pursuits. I mean,
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Women and men. So did you see anything crazy happen in the infield? Anything that you can talk about?
Not really. Like I definitely saw videos, but probably all the same videos you saw.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hype because there wasn't as much hype in the stands. There were more spectators than I expected, truly. But I think that most of the craziness was happening in the infield. But yeah, I was pretty laser focused.
Cool. And so also, we chatted about in previous podcasts, the infamous list where everything has to be registered by the UCI. Did you guys run into any issues with equipment, or did you run into any issues?
No.
You guys were all
That's
good?
Another thing that I kind of have blinders on.
Yeah.
I let staff do that and I just ride the bike.
Cool.
And if they had to change anything, I probably wouldn't have noticed anyway. So maybe we ran into problems and they fixed it and I rode the bike.
You just never knew. Right.
Yeah. I'm not very detail oriented. What's
your best memory from the 2020 or 2021 Olympic Games?
Our suite was pretty fun. It was Megan, Jennifer, Lily, and myself. And we would just stay up at night and talk and try on all the clothes. And we had a couple really good laughs. And that's definitely what I'm going to look back and remember. I think after all we practically all lived together in the Springs, of course, in different places, but just day after day seeing these people and to kind of have it all come together and be really close off the bike is something that I will cherish forever, because that's pretty special and that doesn't happen on every team.
No, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, most teams, sometimes you don't even get to talk to some teammates or you don't get to see them. And I mean, or you just see them race to race. I mean, you guys were practically like sisters and
Yeah,
spent the
yeah.
whole quarantine together. I mean, you guys were your bubble. That was your bubble.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
well, cool. Yeah. And so that's awesome. And like I said, I don't want to keep you too long today, but I got that infamous last question and you probably didn't think about it at all during
Yeah,
this
yeah, I was talking.
because you were talking. But if you could have a cup of coffee, what kind of coffee would you have?
What kind of coffee?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, what kind of coffee? Like a latte,
Okay.
cappuccino, cortado,
I'm big
coffee. And then who
on
would you have it with, dead or alive?
okay. I like sweet coffee. All of my
Okay.
teammates make fun of me. I like the coffee that doesn't taste like coffee.
Okay, that's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
so yeah, any vanilla, hazelnut,
Yeah,
Irish cream.
I
Love,
get you.
love
So,
that.
like, essentially, like a frappuccino inside of like the Starbucks little bottles, but more gourmet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I like Dunkin', a big Dunkin' girl, and that was one thing I need to come back to the East Coast for because they're not the same in Colorado.
Okay.
Uh,
So our Dunkins aren't the same as your Dunkins, is what you're saying.
no, definitely not. Your Dunkins are pretty sad.
So it's like Coors Light in Colorado. Like our Coors Light is better than any Coors Light that's anywhere else.
I had not heard of that.
You've never heard of that? Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
made in Denver and the mountain water.
But it's bottled.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said.
It's like Tim Hortons in Canada.
I get you. I get you. Because you guys have Tim Hortons there, don't you?
Yeah, a couple here and there.
Yeah, just because it's so close to. Because you guys are kind of close to the border, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Close-ish.
Close-ish, close enough to
Yeah.
have some Tim Hortons.
Okay. Anyways,
But yeah,
so a Dunkin',
who?
sweet coffee, and then who would it be with, dead or alive?
Um, this is pretty sad answer, but I think I'd have to go with Taylor Swift.
I don't think that's a sad answer. You think people are gonna make fun of you because of who it is?
Yeah, yeah, I
But
do.
she's kind of badass, though, right? Like, I mean,
I think she's pretty badass, and
Yeah.
I think she's absolutely genius too. Everything she does with her songwriting and social media, I think we'd be pretty good friends.
Well, I feel like as you have a blue check, that's like
I do. I really need to take advantage of that too.
blue check.
I have a
slide
blue
to
check
DM.
and a bronze medal. So, and I don't do anything with either of them. So I should slide into her DM.
You should slide into Taylor Swift's DMs. And I think because I remember like watching videos of like influencers and stuff like when they DM each other. So supposedly, if you have that blue check, it pops up in the guys and girls with higher followers. Like if you were to DM them and you had a blue check, it will pop up closer so they can see it because it's recognized, it's verified, and so it's kind of interesting.
Cool.
So this is probably the best chance that you ever have to getting close to Taylor Swift. Is what I'm saying.
That's right. That's true. She did that video for Simone Biles too. I don't know if you saw that. So I feel like she already has she did a whole like video hyping her up, and
Well, there
she
you
had a
go.
voiceover. So, I don't
she's
know
off
if that
for
betters
Olympia.
my chances or worsens it.
Um,
I feel like she's already got her Olympian.
yeah, but I feel like you could have multiple Olympians. I think everybody was on
True.
Simone Biles' side for the most part with the mental
It's
health
true.
stuff that was going on, and
Yeah.
all
And
athletes-
she's also a bronze medalist.
there you go.
Twinning.
Right on, you're twinning with Simone Biles.
Yeah. That was
but-
pretty surreal. I do have to say that part about the Olympics. Like looking at people who I idolize, I'd be like, oh my God, we have the same shirt on right now. Or
Yeah.
you also have a bronze medal? Like how, like it didn't feel equal to me. It felt
Well,
very,
They got the same load of kit that you got too.
yeah.
Like so it's
We
it's
were
like-
just matching.
Yeah, I think it's a wild thing to kind of put together. Like I said, when Hedge came in, it looked like the Olympics threw up in my house. Like when you guys
Yeah.
got clothes, I mean, you guys could have honestly wore a different piece of clothing every single day. Like
We
bottom.
did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
and you still probably had loads of clothes that you
Yeah.
hadn't touched.
Still with tags on.
I mean, you guys got what, 4 pairs of shoes?
5. Yeah.
5 pairs of shoes. Jeez. Okay. Well,
I'm never going to buy shoes again.
man, if you only wore those shoes for the rest of your life, that would be great because they're all red, white, and blue, and
Yeah.
they're pretty dorky. So
Yeah, definitely will be made fun of.
but anyways, Emma, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Hopefully we can get you close to Taylor Swift. I know my podcast is listened by so many people. Who knows? Maybe Taylor Swift listens to this podcast.
Maybe. I really hope that for both of our sakes, she does.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Hey, Taylor, anyway, love you.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Yeah. Cheers.